Good evening. Hope you are all well. Doing the normal, checking to see if we're live in the correct place. Yep, there we are. Excellent. Just shut that down. Do pop on and say hello if you're joining us live or hashtag replay. Yeah. I'm going to have a cat join me, I think. Oh, yes. There she is. Hello. I'm going to say hello, Mind. I'm afraid you need to go. I got things to do. We're going to do a scrapbook poem. You're going over there, are you? Okay, that's fine. If you want to go, oh, I can't push you now, mate. Yeah. We're playing with the Resourceful Rusty this week. I've been sharing a few cards, and today on my live I did 2 cards. We made 2 fun fold cards. We did this one that does fold flat to go in an envelope. Hi Carol, thanks for joining. And we did this one. It's got 2 flaps to open up. And we had a bit of a masculine type of thing going, or something that's a little bit more masculine than the norm. And I thought we'd carry that on this evening with our scrapbook page. See you later. See you. Hayden's just come back from taking the dog a walk. So I was thinking, where can we go with this? What have I got? I could do a white background, or I could change it up a little bit. And I was thinking, what papers have I got? And I pulled out the Country Woods, and I picked these. Let's switch camera. So I picked these 2 out because I'm thinking animals, masculine, woods, those would go quite nice. And then I pulled out some of the 2-tone. I haven't got all the colours in 2-tone, but I have got a fair few from variety packs that I've got bits left on some, and I've got whole sheets on the colours that are in the papers, but also I pulled out some greens as well. I've got the Everyday You and Me variety packs that's got like Pretty Peacock, Lost Lagoon, those sort of colours. So that's where I thought we would go with it. So I thought we will use the Pecan Pie 2-tone as our background. You've not tried the 2-tone ones yet. Carol, they're lovely. I haven't used them for card making yet, only for scrapbooking. They are thinner than our cardstock, even though it's called cardstock. And they're a little bit thicker than the DSP. They're kind of in between. But it's great for ripping, as you can see, because you get the white core. Show you with this one. Yeah, that is, you get the 2-tone, obviously, and it is, you can see the difference. But yeah, they're lovely. I love it for scrapbooking on. It's as thick as it needs to be for a scrapbook page, because it's not like a card where it's got to be strong enough itself to hold. So if it's going in a protector or it's going in an album or something, so it's absolutely fine. I like it. I'm well happy with it. I suggest, yes, get some. And what I've done is just gone for the mixed packs that go alongside the scrapbook kits, just so I've got a little bit of a mixture. I haven't got more. I've brought a few that I bought some actually that were in the last chance that were on offer, because I was like, well, it's still the colours. It doesn't matter that the products that match with them aren't still available, because it's still the colours that I'm going to want to use anyway. So yeah, good way to get it. Right, so we've got our pecan pie, and I'm going for the lighter side, and I thought we'd stick with the masculine and go for a kind of crazy dad haphazard kind of thing, rather than it being supportive, using this in a comical kind of way, because he's just stuffing his face with apples in that one. That one looks like it could be either acting the fool like dads do, with the apples juggling and stuff, or because of his teeth, I think he looks quite Halloweenish. And with apples, you do apple bobbing at Halloween. That gave me that. Dad's being very competitive, you know, he's trying to get all the apples, and just being a general man, and yeah, right, whatever, can't be bothered type thing, for throwing my toys out. That, you know, that's the kind of vibe I got. So I thought we'd do something along those lines. I've got something under there that's giving me a lump. That's better. Right, so to start off with, I'm going to think about what size photos I want to make this for, and I'm thinking I'm going to go for a standard 4x6 on here and a 4x3. So I'm going to cut my photo mats first, and that's something that I have started doing and working around my photo mats. Now I am going to use basic cardstock for these. Just seeing if I've got any scraps, not that big enough. And I'm going to use early espresso. So I'll grab a piece of early espresso. Sometimes I back photos in a lighter colour, sometimes darker. Today I just think I want to go darker. Actually thinking if I'm going to be using those two, because those are the ones I want to use, I might actually go green and bring in some green with my photo mats. So if I grab Granny Apple Green, which is quite a vibrant green, but if you look at the two-tone, the lighter's very much toned down. That's very similar, the darker side. So I am going to go with some two-tone for this, because I want them more muted. So I'm going to cut a 6 for a 6x4. I'm going to cut it 4 1/8 by 6 1/8. So it just gives me that tiny border all the way around. I need that out. I like to have an 1/8 of an inch border for my photo mats, and then that's 4 1/8 anyway, so then I can cut my 3 1/8 for my 4x3. There we go. Now I do always work in inches when I'm doing scrapbook layouts. Sorry if you keep hearing my phone. And I'm kind of thinking of having them in that kind of shape, I think. And I think I'm going to do a panel. Might have a panel in the middle of that, because I like the way that looks with that. So let's see what size. Let me grab my ruler. I'm going to do 8x8, and I think that'll be just the right size doing that. I hope I've got just enough. Yep, 8 to there. And 8. Okay, so we've got that. And then maybe actually, because it's Dad, I'm going to make it a bit goofy, because we're going this goofy kind of. So I think the photos need to be goofy on the wonk. Nothing needs to be too symmetrical. And I'm thinking, what's on the back of there? No, I'm not into that. Bringing in a bit of this behind in some strips almost. Let's see what it'd look like. It's only a bit of paper. We can rip it. I just want to break up the uniformity of it and just have it a bit random. And I might actually just pop it behind there and there. If I rip this as well, you've totally seen my thought process today. And as you'll see, there isn't really much of one. It's just stick it on and do we like it. I quite like that being like that somewhat. Looks like it's going through there like that. Okay, and then just gonna have a piece come in out here. I think I like ripping paper, card. It's not something I do in my card making much, but I do go to a art journaling on a Monday evening. It's run by a friend of mine, and I rip a lot in that now. Well, I didn't to begin with. I was always the one that cut everything. Everything was super neat. But I have started ripping things, and it does look a whole lot better. You just need it to look a bit rough and ready for our dads. Okay, I think I'm going to distress this. It's not something I do very often either, but I think it just calls for it today. I'm just going to give it a bit of a screw up. Not too much in the middle, but just so it's got a little bit. Just don't want it too perfect. Scrunch some of that. Just let them edges appear a little bit ragged. There we go. That's better, I think. Yeah. You like the idea? Thank you. Right, so I'll have that somewhere like that. Leave some of it a little bit scrunch, but I like that, having that little niche out of it there. And we've got a couple of rips. Right, so I'm going to do a little bit of background on here, and I'm going to use the plaid stamp, and I'm going to do tone on tone. And I'm wondering whether I'll be best actually if I do it in the middle, because I'll be covering it. Yeah, it needs to be stamped off. So, scrap of paper. This is just something I use for stamping off on, and I have got grid paper, but I haven't got any out. I'm just going to randomly stamp all around the edges. I got carried away with my stamping off there, didn't I? Turning the stamp round. I know lots of people struggle with random stamping. I used to be very much placing it all the time. Now I don't tend to look. I just do it. Now what you're seeing there is a lot darker than it is in real life. So, and there are some others that I've stamped on really light that you can't see. There we go. I'm happy with that. Alright, let's pop that to one side. Now I have got where I've got the shadow there, I pressed too hard. I'm going to turn it round because I'm more likely to put something down here than up in that corner. So, right, I'm going to stick this on, but I'm not going to go right to the edge with my glue. I'm going to do it about half an inch in so that you'll still get some of that movement in the paper. And I'm just eyeballing. That looks about central to me. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect. No one's going to be measuring it when they're looking at it. Just making sure that's down where the glue is. So I've got little ripples still in the middle, and I've got my ripples on the ends. But we've got some added texture in there. Okay. These, I am going to leave these undistressed because they're for the photos, and that's fine. Right, let's stick these pieces under here. So what I can do is snip it so that it meets the glue at a decent angle. That way. Move that up. Just getting it so it looks like it is going straight under. Yeah, that'll do. So we can glue that one down. And that'll go underneath like so. Yeah, haven't distressed these. Again, I'm not putting glue right to the edge at the sides. Where it's going under the paper, I have to make sure that sticks down. But then I've just put it in the middle. So these will flick up a little bit, our edges. And just be a little bit messy, a little bit free flow. I'm wondering about perhaps making that. Oh, I can bring that out to there like that. So that will cover that mishap with my stamping. And that. And then I have that like that and that like that. Something like that. I do tend to look on the screen. I find I get a better feel of how it's looking. Put that on. There maybe. I don't know if that, yeah. If it's looking a bit heavy that side. I don't want to make it totally equal. That's better. Yeah, I'll stick that there. Just want it to look like bits of wood sort of hanging around, you know, like men have them. Some men, not all. Right, I'll trim those off because it'll look totally different when we've trimmed them off as well. And like I say, this is totally on the hoof. It's just what I'm thinking of as I'm doing it. Now, I'm trusting the process. I'm going with it. I am starting to doubt myself. But we carry on. Now, see, I've turned that round now. And I'm preferring it that way. So that's the way it's now going to be. I'll drink a tea. And I managed to sort my camera out a little bit so it's that little bit higher so I can fit the whole 12 by 12 because I was struggling to fit that on. Alright, photo mats next. And I'm going to put those flat, but again, only in the middle so that I can tuck things behind. Yes, you agree. Sorry, Carol, what was that you were agreeing with? It looks better this way than the other. That's the thing, isn't it? I keep chatting. And in fact, I was going to go like that, but yeah, that way up's better, isn't it? Yeah, and I'm going to do that one that way up. Take it up. I think that looks better as well. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? How you do something and you've got it, and then you end up putting it down a different way, and it's like, actually, that looks better. Yeah, it's much better, and I much prefer that way, even though I was going to have it the other way. But that's fine. Right, now I need to make some of our little men. And what I'm going to do, so that I haven't got to colour them totally, I'm going to do them on coloured cardstock. And then I can just add some shading a little bit. And I'm thinking about... So they would have looked nice in pecan pie, but I've used that. How about crumb cake? What will it look like in crumb cake? It's crumb cake against that. Will be all right. It's another neutral. So let's stamp some of our little men. Well, our little Rusty. And I'm going to do it in Memento. Because of adding blends to them. So we'll have our little Halloween dad. We'll have our disgruntled. Don't know why I keep saying dad. So Rusty. And we'll have our Scoffy Rusty. And I'm just going to do the 3 because we all know 3s are better. We like those odd numbers. All right. So I'm going to add some colour to this. I'm going to bring in the Granny Apple Green for my apples to tone in with that. And obviously because I'm on cardstock, coloured cardstock, it'll be darker, but also it bleeds more into these. I will show you what I'm doing. I know you can't see, can you? It's the problem with me being so high. I'm not actually doing a lot of shading on these. It's just giving it a little bit. It's just got a touch. That's my light. Just a touch on it. Just so that it looks like they're not flat, really. That's all we want. Hayden came into us earlier, and it's like, what time's tea? And it was 5:30, 5:45, something like that. And I was like, look at the time. I've got my live 7:30. I was going to do jacket potatoes. Maybe not. So we've been naughty, and I ordered a pizza. So we've just had really nice pizza. Hayden cooked for himself. He didn't want pizza. He's had some salmon. And Dell's now gone in the bedroom to go and watch his mate live on Facebook. He does a live on a Thursday, which is why I chose to do this now. Right, grab crumb cake, and if I grab ivory, and we'll just see what that ivory looks like on crumb cake. I'm just going to let that dry so that I can see how it looks. And again with these, I'm going to do very much like I did today, just a little bit. Of colour on them. Actually, this works well. That to flick it, it dries nice. You can see that. I did this bit as normal, but then towards it I was flicking with my pen, and it's gone into a nice, it's blended in really nice there. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So I am just going to do the tails. On these. Just go up again. And I think because it blends in and dries quick. Now this is the first time I've used my blends on colour card, and I think it's something I am going to be doing again because I do like the effect. Right, and this one, again, if I flick with that, and colour over with that, and flick it away, and colour that in. Most of it will be hidden behind that ear. That's it. I really like the way that nice bushy tail. It does, doesn't it? Looks like a real nice bushy tail. Yeah, I'm really happy with the way they've come out. And yeah, just doing the tail, and then because I do quite like the way that's gone, so I did a bit of a pinky to it. I am going to do the front of him with that. Oh, that end is okay. I could use that. I tend to use my brush nibs for splattering, so they tend to get ruined. But actually, this one's okay. I suppose I don't splatter much with ivory. There we go. I might just add in his teeth and tongue in this one, so it does look a bit more Halloweeny, if you like. There we go. Love it. Right, let's put those to one side. So I'm just going to grab a dark, just cherry cobbler. Would be good for its tongue, if that'd be too dark. That's a bit too dark, I think. Let's try real red. Yeah, that's better. Just on there. Now, have I got a white pen? I know I've got some of our old chalk markers, but I'm not sure. Oh, that one's working. Would have been better with a gel pen, to be honest. Find a nib, but that's okay. That's worked. Just to give his little teeth. And some little white teeth there. Right, let's fussy cut these out. I'm not going to perfectly fussy cut them because of them having the added apples and stuff. So I'm just going to sort of go round, because I don't want to be cutting out little apples. And we need that sign on the top of his head, or it won't mean the same, will it? There we go. That's one. Throw that bit away. I'll keep that as my tester piece for blends and that on crumb cake. I haven't used crumb cake in such a long time. It was a colour I always used to use. But yeah, I haven't used it. I have been using a lot more like colours rather than neutrals, and just sticking to my white with them. I think we go through phases, don't we, with our crafting? I know I do. Of using a set of colour. I mean, I was never a bright type person, and not long ago I did quite a few cards that were using lots of bright colours. And I suppose it's been since then, really, that I've carried on using a lot more colour, or a bigger selection of our colours, rather than sticking to the same few. Right, let's see what we've got here. I've got a little rusties, and they can go about, if we want. That one looks best there so far, but I am going to have a title, and I'm going to go with Oh Man. And I think I'm going to use my favourites, Alphabet a la Mode, and then we need to decide what colour. I might do, I think the green will be too much. I'm kind of leaning towards an early espresso. taking it out of that piece. Yeah, I think that'll show quite nice. I'll pop them back. Find the right pocket for them. Right, so I want put that over there. Adhesive sheets. Now I've got a strip and it's probably not actually quite tall enough, but that's okay. If I need to add a tiny bit of glue, I can do that, but we also might just get away with it. And I've just tried to put that in the bin and it has gone anywhere but in my bin. There we go. I'm just going to leave it. And I will trim it down, but not all the way. I'm going to leave it wider than what I need and trim that off so that it'll go through. That's it. And oh, right, we'll pop that on there, and then we want oh man. We've got an O, a H, don't want an R, an M, an A, an N, and an exclamation mark. Right. I'll make sure I don't lose that little dot off the exclamation mark, which I usually end up losing off my eyes or whatever into lowercase. Right, there we go, that's going through, and I am going to go back and forth with this because of it having the adhesive sheet on and them being so thin at places, just to make sure that it's good. So how did everything go with your engineer, Carol? Did it go well? Is everything okay? I hope it is. I did have some lunch. I did tidy up and get this afternoon's popped on YouTube. And then I did a bit of nothing really. Did a little bit of work, not a lot. What did I do? I can't remember. I can't remember what I did. I sorted a few things out for Hayden. Yes, hopefully getting our cavity wall. Oh, excellent. We've got cavity wall. It was on some scheme that they did it for free. And it's like fluff. That's in it. And it does make a difference. It does make a difference. I mean, in the middle of summer, like with the hot summer that we had, our house has been quite cool at times, especially in this room. I mean, we don't get any sun on in this room, but I've got doors and windows open because of animals, and I did have my little dot and I just flicked it. We'll oh, is that it? No, that's a white dot. I thought that was the back of it. I tried to push my poke it all into it to pick it up and move it, and oh well, never mind. I can draw a dot on if needs be. That's what you're getting. It's free. Yeah. I mean, it'd be silly not to, wouldn't it? You know. Gosh. Anything to save a little bit of money. We all need that at the moment. Right. So we've got that. Bring this back down. And I'm going to pop this along here. I don't know whether to go over that. I think I will. I'll start it around there. I'm not worried about it not being 100% level either. Because of the way the page is, I think it can be wonky. And yeah, I mean, like, we've only got a small-ish 2-bed bungalow. But my heating, I never turn my heating off. It's set at 18 degrees. And that's what it stays at. It comes on when it's needed. We have got a log burner that we do have on in the depths of winter. But you know, I mean, my gas and electric compared to my dad's is nothing. I am an octopus and I have got a good rate, but having the insulation certainly made a difference. Right. Last letter. I'm going to have to sort some photos of Dell out, aren't I, to go on here. I don't know how we'll feel about it, but you're with Octopus too. Do you know what? I think they're fabulous. Any issues I've had, they've sorted. Yeah, I do. I think they're fab. I'll put, if I use a gem or something, or any embellishments, I'll put one of those there. If not, I'll just draw a little dot on, rather than having to cut another. Right, so we've got those that we can stick on here. I'm going to have that one overlapping. And then we're going to need, well, I don't need, but I would like a journaling piece. So what I'm going to do is bring out a flip flap. I always forget that I've got them until it's too late. So let's see. If we had one of these, that going like that, which we can stick behind there because we didn't put it down properly, and then I can have my photo in there and my journaling on there. So I am going to cut another green piece to go in there. I don't think that piece we had left is quite big enough. No. And I'm not sure if it will take a 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. It might not, but that's okay, because we can do it 3 by 4, and then we can chop a little bit off our photo that we decide to pop in there. So let's see if that will fit on the light side. Oh, it will. So they are big enough to take a mat. Excellent. Love it. Okay, so I'm not too keen about them white bits showing, so I am going to trim them off. I'm just going to mitre the corners off. I think because it's on such a dark background and there isn't any white on here as such, it does look a little bit odd. Yeah, I need to cut a little bit of that off up to there. You know, and it's okay, we can doctor things. There's nothing to say we can't. That's better. I haven't got that white sticking out now. Right, so we'll pop that under there. So that's a good thing about not sticking everything down right to the edges. We can tuck things behind where we want to. Oh, don't go down yet. Try and line it up as best I can. There we go. Excellent. Brilliant. And then that all. So we'll have our photo in there. I can pop that on there on dimensionals, which will hold that. But then you can open it and we'll have our journaling on there. Right, so I want a piece. I don't want to put white. I'm wondering, basic beige. See, the basic beige or very vanilla. I have both. You don't, you know. I think the very vanilla actually. I don't know on there. You know, I do think the very vanilla will be better. Make it look more like a writing piece. So, where is my very vanilla piece? Oh, in fact, I've got some here. Is that one big enough? That might be perfect. That's 3. That's slightly under. Never mind. It was nearly perfect. I've got here some cut, and they've been cut for quite a while, so they need using. And none of it goes to waste. I'm going to cut that 4 by 3. So that'll go on there as our journaling piece. And I'm going to grab my early espresso pen. And I'm just going to go round it with a box. Now mine is the old pen. And as you can see, it's starting to run out. I bought my white markers about 7 years ago, something like that. And they are starting to run out. If you go slow, it's okay. But I'm okay with that. There we go. Oh, I will do, while I've got it, the dot. There we go. At a glance, you'd never know. Alright, I'm going to stick that down there. Oh. And then that will go over. Let's pop some dimensionals on here. See if I can squeeze 3. Perhaps should have moved that other one up a bit. Oh, that's okay. Just to make sure that it's on there with it holding that. There we go. I'll put this one on dimensionals as well. Might as well put them all on dimensionals really. Little mini ones to fit on here. On the ends. So what's everyone got planned for the weekend? You got anything nice, Carol? Any crafting? And then our final one of these can go here. I've got my needle felting class on Saturday that I'm going to do. I'm looking forward to that. There we go. Right, let's have a look and see what we think. Let's get rid of some of this rubbish that I've got lying around. I need to recover my mat. This is a plastic mat that I put on top of my desk and I've covered, and I've got a hole and marks on it now. But I use it for my photos as well. But I said to Del last night when I was on about that it needs redoing, I was like, why don't we just cover my desk and then I can have this for my photos elsewhere, because because of the size of it, it limits where I go with my camera, but also where I put things. And then I tend to keep everything on it when I don't have to. But if the whole of my desk covered, it'll be all right. Heading to Bristol Sunday for a week. Oh, lovely. Hamster sitting. Crafting with jam for a few. Oh, that would be nice. Hamster sitting. Gosh, I haven't had an hamster for a few years. We got Millie a black hamster when she was little. It was gorgeous, but it was a little bit vicious, to say the least. Yeah, I love hamsters. I think they're so cute. But no, that'll be nice, won't it? Do you know, I've drove through Bristol, I've drove around Bristol. I've never actually been to any at Bristol. I drive past it quite often when I go down to my sister because she's in Somerset. So yeah, but never been to anything actually at Bristol. Never stopped for any reason. Somewhere I need to go. Apparently it's really good, real good, lively place. I need to go and experience it. Definitely. Right, so we've got our little flip flap on. We've got our journaling bit and our photos. We've got our little Rusty on there. And that's how I'm kind of thinking I'm good with that. I might see what embellishments I do have in case there is anything that I think, oh, I mean, the bees would go, but I'm a bit blingy. Flower motifs would go, but when you're doing things for more masculine, you don't want anything too much, do you? It's a shame I haven't got any apples. If I had some apples, I could stick apples on. What we got here in my last chance? I don't think I want hearts. Oh, we've got these, the natural ones. Now they are blingy, but they're quite natural colours. We've got basic beige, that I believe might be cinnamon cider, or it might be pecan pie. We could use some of those, they're a bit blingy, or some of those. I like both, but I'm kind of swaying towards these because these are going to be going once they've sold out, so you know, why not use them? So we'll go for these pecan pie if they are, or cinnamon cider, not sure, and we'll just use a fair few of these all around. 4, 5, 6, don't like that, oops, 6, 8, I could use one as that, I will. No, that doesn't look right on that. That's better like that. Love that down there. 7, 8, one more, 9. There we go. Yeah, they look pretty good on there. So there we are, our finished page. So we've got our tone on tone stamping on our 2-tone cardstock, and then we've ripped some of the Country Woods wood style paper and added in behind, distressed our panel. We've got our photo mats on the wonk, and we've used a flip flap for our writing journaling piece. And then we've got 3 of our little Rusties, and we've just we've done him on crumb cake and added tone on tone blends for his tail and a bit of ivory just for his front, and the granny apple green for the apples. And we've got early espresso for our title, and then a few of the natural tones blings. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. I was dreading tonight, I won't lie to you. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm running out of ideas for Rusty. And because it is only little things, it's like, what do you do for a whole scrapbook? And we're not having photos to put it to. But yeah, thank you, Carol. I'm really chuffed with it. I think it's turned out quite well. I've done a great. Thank you. Thank you. It's that, isn't it? Trust the process. Go with it. You know, the idea it hasn't turned out exactly as I had it in my head type thing. But I just went with it, carried on, and it comes together, doesn't it? And it's what comes of having great products to work with. It makes it so much easier. So yeah. Right. Thank you very much for joining me live, Carol. Have a lovely week next week. I'm also off next week. I'm having a girly week in Spain with a friend. So I won't be here next week. I may pop on and do a few lives at the beach, hopefully, or whatever we're doing. But yeah, thanks again. And don't forget, if you watch this later, do hashtag replay. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye. Somewhere